Step 7.
Step 7 says, we humbly ask God to remove our shortcomings.
Oh, my goodness. You know what that sounds like to me? That sounds like a prayer.
It is a prayer.
It is.
And from what I can tell, it is the only prayer in the 12 steps.
It is.
Where the text of the step is a prayer.
Yes. Like you could say it is, God, I'm asking you to please remove all my shortcomings. Amen. Right?
It is.
Did that seem honest?
Yeah.
Was that honest?
Well, you know, there's
heartfelt?
I'd say it was
manipulative.
Ish.
Yeah, ish. Good.
I think the importance of the fact that it's a prayer is it is teaching us how to pray.
Good.
Because a lot of our prayers, if we have been in an addiction, can be those foxhole prayers, the Santa Claus prayers, the cash box prayers. God, get me out of this. If you can just get me out of this, God, I'll promise I'll change.
I'll never do this again.
If you can just get me out of this one and have me avoid every consequence for this behavior, I promise you, God, I'm going to change for good. And then once we get off, if we are lucky and get off scot-free, guess what? Next day,
we don't even think about it.
We're right back. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
we're like, oh, God's blessed me. I'm good.
Yeah, I'm special. We got a relationship.
Yeah. So this is about like a proper orientation towards God, a proper relationship with God. What does that relationship look like?
Yeah, because that's where that paradox comes in, because it's like you have to get mentally to a point to where you know you can't do it and you need to ask for help, but then you still have to do it. But that's where the rub comes in, is God allows you to slowly, I think he allows you to work through these problems, and he guides you if you're willing to listen and watch. Because I think the two words in this are ask and humbly, right? Mm-hmm. Ask is a you can blow that right over, but I always think like as addicts, and we're so good and resourceful at everything that we did, secrecy, we can ask people for millions of things and manipulate the situation.
That's right.
But what none of us are good at is asking for help.
No.
We won't do it, because deep down inside, that's our control.
That's right.
And we're not going to ask for the most important thing.
If I have to ask for help, that's a scary thing, because that's kind of blowing myself wide open. I want to protect myself. I want to protect my ego, and I want to get what I want. And I want to manipulate other people to help me get there.
That's right, because deep down, I don't care who you are and what you're doing. Deep down, if you are having substance abuse, you know you have a problem deep down in your heart. But you'll never admit that unless they pull your toenails off you.
Right.
You're not going to admit that to another person.
Because what happens when you admit it to another person? Then people might try to do something about it, and then you're going to get... I know. Then you're at risk of losing the thing that you love the most.
Because, we're so messed up.
And so this humility is an act of knowing that I've been wrong in my responses to people, in my relationship with other people, in my relationship with God, and starting to unravel those knots that have been tying up for years and years. Mm-hmm. And this is literally waking up every day, picking some kind of defect that I have or shortcoming that I have. Maybe my shortcoming is that I'm impatient and I'm snappy at the people I care about. This is literally waking up every day. God, help me not to snap at people today. Help me to be aware of my anger. Help me to be aware of my dishonesty. Show me what to do.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's the prayer.
That's the prayer.
The prayer.
And that's such a different prayer than like, God, what are you going to give me today? This is like, God, show me what to do so that I can better serve you and my fellows. That's
humbleness right there.
That's humbleness.
I want to be used.
That's right.
And I have to do this so I can become able to be used. And if I'm going to be a tool,
that's right.
I have to be molded and formed into the right tool.
That's right. And this is, for a lot of us, this is a radical change in how we look at our lives and our place in life. You know, you used to say something in meetings that it's always stuck with me. This is about putting ourselves into the stream of life. Mm-hmm. And not pushing our own ego down so that we can have room to do to be in that stream,
Well,
to not work against it.
That's what we do. We go out into the rapids, and then we try to walk upstream against them.
Right.
When I always say it's God's will or His life it's moving all around us, but we're not paying attention. We're trying to walk upstream and fight it when all we have to do is go.
Right, just let go.
And He'll take you.
That's right.
But we can't. It's not in us. We're humans. I don't care what you call it, the fall, the whatever. We've got this we've got this ego humanity in us. And you know what's funny is when you do when you do 4 and 5 and 6, and you find out all that stuff about you, this whole new humanity and stressfulness creeps up of like, oh my goodness, what have I done?
Right.
What did I do to my family?
Right.
You know what I mean? And you have so you get almost this anxiety built up of where you realize this last whatever amount of years that you've done this. So that's a whole new thing you have to, because you know what you said, you learn your shortcomings and then you write them down and you figure out how to deal with it. Well, right off the bat, you're going to get a freaking list of shortcomings hit you right in the face. And it's a test. And I'm going to fail that test hardcore, and people do it all the time. So you have to have that prayer of God, you need to guide me through this. And it's this much at a time, man. It's 2 steps forward, 1 step back. If you looked at a graph, you think 12 steps, you go like this. No, dude, it's like
it is. And hopefully you can take 1 step here
in
and there
a year,
in the right direction.
you're going forward.
One of the hardest things that we have to do is deal with our families and after we get clean and sober, because we have now made this big change and we want everyone else to give us the gold star and pretend like the past never happened.
That's that ego. That's what we do. You're right.
And so in order to deal with the feelings that our families still have about us, because they're righteous. They are because they have a right to be skeptical. Mm-hmm. If I put my family through hell for 15 years...
And they go, I got 1 month today.
I got 30 days.
Give me some credit, woman.
Right. Now you better start treating me.
That's right. I did all my defects, and I found these defects in you. Let's list them down.
And so humility is necessary to humbly approach the people in our life and have patience and have tolerance and understanding. That's what humility is, to see myself in a realistic way and not expect everyone else to fall in line. Mm-hmm. But it's hard. It requires prayer. And there's something about prayer, about getting on your knees and asking for this. It makes it hammers it home. This is a big deal.
And I think it makes you realize how God answers prayer, because it's so confusing, because the Bible does a really good job of writing down dramatic high point events where He comes and does these amazing miracles and all that. But when you read through the Bible in the Old Testament, I mean, there's millions and millions and billions of people's lives that the Bible doesn't talk about.
Right.
And regular stuff happens to regular people. And prayer it's all that same thing of what you just said about the stream and God's will moving all around us. It's more of learning what my goal in a prayer is, to say, God, I need help. But most importantly, I say, what are you wanting from me? I need to figure that out, because if I can even get close to that, maybe I'm moving in the right direction. Not what I want from you.
And it might require a lot of humility to be ready for the answer to that. Because if we truly and humbly ask God to remove our shortcomings, we need to be ready for the guidance that we're going to get. Because what if removing our shortcomings requires us to go make amends to that person that we can't stand? I will never make amends to that person because they don't deserve it. They deserve to be miserable. They've done this, and this, and I'm not going to go apologize. I'm going to wait for them to apologize to me first. And if we truly have this prayer, we may find ourselves in a position where that is no longer okay.
That's right.
Where we have got to really swallow our pride,
or it's
and
that,
do some of that work.
It could be something like, man, God, I'm at this point where I need your help to do this and this, and it's like the answer may be you need to develop a scheduled discipline activities in your life, and you're like, but I'm not that kind of person.
Right.
I don't want to wake up early and make my bed and take care
And
of
then
all
God
these
is like,
things.
well, how bad do you really want to change? Are we just paying it lip
made
service?
my microphone fall, huh? Yes, Father. Exactly. You better be ready.
There
That's
was
all I'm saying.
an old timer in AA, and she used to always say this to the women that she sponsored. And when they would complain about having to do something, she'd be like, well, how free do you want to be? How bad do you really want this?
Yeah.
Are you really willing to do this work? This is critical before we start doing steps 8 and 9.
It is.
Before we start making a list of people that we've harmed and making amends, we have got to grow in humility, in real humility, and lose our own ego. Otherwise, we're going to do more harm than good when we start making amends to people.
Yep. And we'll try to do this. We'll try to cover up. We'll try to hide. We'll try to do whatever, because that's all we've known for so long.
That's right.
So anyway, next time, please like and subscribe and share. We'd love to know your opinions in the comments below.
How do you practice step 7? What kind of directions did your sponsor give you if you've worked the steps like that? We would love to know your story and your experience with it.